Hello, everyone, and welcome to another video. My name's Nick, and this is probably going to be my last video before we get into Dawn of the Hunt. I'll definitely be releasing content afterwards, but my main focus for the next few days is theory crafting and coming up with everything I could possibly think of to get a head start in the new league, of which I am very excited for. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. The things I'm excited for in the new league and some of my plans. There's a lot of new updates that are coming that I think are going to be really awesome. I'm planning on playing the Huntress in this upcoming league, and well, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. All right, just kidding, just kidding. The video is going to be a tad bit longer than that. I don't want this video to turn into a big discussion about the entire update. There have been tons of videos released on that already from tons of other people, and you can get a much better version of that just by going to GGG's YouTube channel yourself and watching the 40-minute reveal video that they posted back on Thursday. However, I do want to spend a little bit of time in this video to talk about some of my thoughts regarding the bigger portions of the update and also some of my plans for the upcoming league as well. I have made some, they're not set in stone yet, but I'm ultimately really excited. I think I have kind of a good base going, and man, I'm just looking forward to doing it. I am so ready for another league. I am so ready. All right, so in this video, I want to touch on 9 things, and I promise not to spend too much time on any of them in order to keep this video shorter, which is my ultimate goal. Number 1, economy and new league. Number 2, the new class. Number 3, additional ascendancies. Number 4, new support gems and uniques. Number 5, mechanic updates, including wisps, rogue exiles, and strongboxes. Number 6, endgame mechanic changes, including corruption and cleansed maps, fractured orbs, and towers. Number 7, crafting changes, including corrupted essence and recombination. Number 8, nerfs and what you can potentially expect with them. And number 9, my plans for the league. Be sure to stick around to the end of the video as well for a few surprises also. Now, on to the economy. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about is the economy in the new league, and that starts at 38 minutes and 22 seconds in the video. So we're just going to watch that clip really quick of Jonathan explaining what we're going to talk about.
We wanted to clarify before we move on, which is that all the content we've talked about today will be made available in the existing early access leagues, so you can play your existing characters. However, there will be new leagues made for those who wish to start in a fresh economy. It is recommended to start over and get the full new experience in the Dawn of the Hunt leagues.
Okay, so that pretty much sums it up. Basically, he's saying that with the upcoming update, you're going to be allowed to keep your character, and all the updates that are coming with Dawn of the Hunt are going to be live in the current version of the game. To me, this is a double-edged sword. I don't necessarily like the idea of allowing people to continue playing on the current league with all the new updates because that's never how Path of Exile 1 has done it, and I think it kind of takes away from the excitement of a new league. Don't get me wrong here. I think a large portion of the player base is going to play the new league. I would say probably 90% or higher. But there are still new people who are playing or and joining every day, and they're going to be really tempted to be stuck in their ways and stay on the current standard league. And I just don't think that's a good idea. I really think that everyone should be forced to play a new league. And I understand the game is in early access and that's why they chose to do it this way. But I think you're just further dividing your player base by making it this way, by giving everyone access to all the new updates and not forcing people to play them together is just a way to, again, just kind of segment the player base. And I really don't agree with that. So that might be kind of a hot, topic for discussion. And some people might disagree with that. But having come from Path of Exile 1 where it just works really well, I don't think this was a good idea personally. Sorry if that bothers you. So the additional class that we're getting in the game is the Huntress, and through her backstory, she's some Asmeri warrior. She used a skill gem to defend her village, and yada yada yada. I don't usually care about lore. She gets kicked out. She has 2 ascendancies that she'll come with. One is the Amazon, the other is the Ritualist. And the Amazon I have pulled up here. Basically, it exploits or is used to exploit weaknesses in your enemies and gives you additional damage for them. It also obviously highly buffs your evasion and gives you the chance to have additional critical strike chance based on accuracy that's over 100%. Every single build in the game, for the most part, hits 100% accuracy, so it might be a good additional critical strike chance. We don't know, we haven't seen yet. And the second ascendancy that I have pulled up here is actually the one that I'm going to use. I think it's pretty nutty. I'll explain this a little bit more later on in the video once we get to my plans, but just this right here, Unfurled Finger and Mystic Attunement, an additional ring is just nuts. You know, rings are some of the best items in game for like build defining affixes. And then you get an additional 25% of their bonus on top of that. Imagine pairing that with the current game ingenuity. Like that is just broken. That's why I'm playing it. I want to be powerful again. I'm going to miss the gymling because I know they're going to nerf it to the freaking ground. So the next topic on our list is the other additional ascendancies that are getting added with this update. There is one for the warrior, one for the mercenary, and one for the witch. The first one is for the warrior. It's the Smith of Kitava. You can see it on my screen here. It allows you to infuse your weapon with fire damage, allows you to have a weapon that follows you, or actually a copy of your weapon that follows you around, and also allows you to, with this node, which is free to allocate, smith your perfect piece of body armor. As long as you're wearing a white piece of body armor, you can use all these nodes at the bottom to add all of these affixes to it. I think this is a really cool idea for a ascendancy. Don't get me wrong, it's not something that's going to make me switch to warrior again. I had a terrible experience in this current league with the warrior early on, and I'm excited to see what people will do with this build, but not something that necessarily tickles my fancy to say the least. The next one, didn't mean to maximize that. The next one is the mercenary, and he's getting the tactician ascendancy. And basically, this focuses on a crossbow, allows you to build up pin. Eventually, that pin gets so good that it actually stops enemies from attacking or moving like at all. You can share some of your damage with your ally here, and I think this is going to be a good like team or co-op build, but not something to ever take me away from the Gemling Legionnaire. I think even with the nerfs that are probably coming to that ascendancy, it's still going to be pretty cracked. So nice to see something like this that's adding additional support ascendancies to the game, but not my cup of tea. And then the Lich is the Witch ascendancy, and this is the one that kind of threw me for a loop here. I was really tempted to do this ascendancy. I think it's cracked. It gives just a ton of chaos damage build. But what's most crazy about it is the fact that it allows you to use multiple curses. You can have an additional curse, but also this, the crystalline phylactery. It's been debated in the community and not 100% confirmed which way it works, but based on the terminology down here, where it says 100% increased effect of socketed jewels, that word jewels has an S on it. So the debate in the community is, does that mean every jewel on your passive tree gets 100% buffed, or just the non unique jewel that you put in this socket? If it's just the non unique jewel, that's okay. That's decent. But you do use an entire ascendancy point to buff a jewel. If it's like every jewel in your passive tree, it's a free 100% adorned. And imagine if you have corrupted magic jewels with an adorned in your tree, then you're getting 150, 180, whatever percentage your adorned rolls extra, affixes from your jewels. That's just nuts. If that's the case, this is going to be, just from jewel sockets alone, one of the most powerful builds in the game by default. So I hope it is that way, because if it is, I'm definitely making a lich. Let me tell you right now. All right, so the next thing on the list of things to talk about is the new support gems and uniques, but really quickly I want to make an aside to these two new skills that we're getting. The first one is Raise Spectre, and basically this will let you allocate a portion of your spirit to consume the soul of enemies that you've killed, to have them follow you around and help you complete content in the game. There's obviously going to be limits to this. You can't just go kill a tier 4 arbiter and have him follow you around and just one hit literally everything, although that would be really, really cool. So nice to see specters are making a return to the game. And then summon Roa. This one's a little gimmicky. You can get on top of a Roa and ride it around as a mount. So mounts have come to PoE. I'll be using this just for the fun of it. It doesn't move any faster than you currently move. It's just, again, it's kind of gimmicky, but something fun to have in the game. For the support gems, I can say that I am genuinely shocked. I did not expect GGG to add over 100 new support gems. I think we currently have like 198 in the game or something. So they're basically increasing our total by 50%, which is just nuts. Um, I'm sure some of these are going to have some really, really good abilities that they give. So I'm excited to see what some of the new ones are. Hopefully, there's some bleed ones. I am planning on doing a bleed build. I'll get into that more in the future. But yeah, super, super nice to see this. And then for the uniques as well, equally as excited about this. I know GGG has rebalanced every unique in the game. They said that, and I'm going to talk a little bit more on that in the nerfs. I'm getting ahead of myself again. But these uniques that are coming in game, they said are going to focus on mid game and end game tiers, which is super nice because the current uniques that we have, a lot of them fall off at mid game and end game. So just the examples they have here are some potentially mid game and end game uniques. It's also really cool to see that we're getting unique charms. The silver charm is a unique one, and it's one of many that they're adding. So props to GGG for this. A lot of really great additions. Next on our list is the mechanic updates, starting with the Asmirian Wisps. Basically, you'll discover these first in the Grellwood area, and you find them in mapping, you find them in the campaign, you follow them. As you follow them, they possess monsters, give them special abilities. The more they possess, the more rewards you get from the monsters. When they find a rare, unique monster, they fully possess it and then give it special powers. It dissipates. Once you kill it, you're rewarded handsomely. At least that's the idea, and I hope that's the case. The next thing is Rogue Exiles, and these are returning from Path of Exile 1. They are NPCs that act as actual player characters. They can use all the skills that your class can use that you are running. They can use all the items that you're running, and they know how to use them too. So if they have a special weapon with a special ability, they know how to use it. I think these are really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing some crazy posts on Reddit where someone finds a rogue exile with an Astramentus on and a Temporalis on, kills it, and just immediately makes like a mirror's worth of currency. I think that's going to be really cool. I hope these can be found in both campaign and maps. I don't think they've specified, but really looking forward to this. And I'm looking forward to, again, some of the crazy posts that we see, some of the crazy videos we see of people just getting stupidly lucky with the rogue exiles that they find. The last mechanic is strong boxes. If you're aware of the current strong box situation in the game, they are terrible. They suck. They came out with the release of Path of Exile 2. They were in the previous game, but they came out with the release of Path of Exile 2. They buffed them once. They still suck. They're absolutely terrible. I have good I have a good feeling about these ones, being unique. They're going to give some special abilities to them. There's 4 of them that are coming out. They've given us proper information about 2. But yeah, my big ask for these 3 particular mechanics would just be, God, I hope they're worth it. You know, it's not a big addition of mechanics. It's not like league changing mechanics like, come out in Path of Exile 1 every league. So I'm really hoping that they are worth their weight in salt and time that we've spent in between the original release and this update. That's my only request, is that they're just worth it. I hope they shit out loot, and I hope it's decent to make these exciting new mechanic updates to the game. Please. All right, we are moving right along to number 6, and this is the one I am most excited for. Starting off with the top, the cleanse the corruption mechanic that we're getting. So at the end game, Doriani gives you a quest. He tells you to go do 15 tier 1 maps, 15 tier 2 maps, etc., etc. This is going to be a replacement to that quest. It's going to tell you to find a corrupted map. You'll see this little note on your atlas, and he wants you to cleanse that corruption. It's canonically accurate. He talks about that at the end of the game, but you don't even do anything with it in the current revision. Regardless, Once you finally run this map and you cleanse the corruption, all the maps in the surrounding area will also be cleansed. And that'll give you access to this guy, the Fracturing Orb. The Fracturing Orb is going to be a new currency, a very valuable currency, and it allows you to fracture items. So, looking at this staff here, if you look at the adds 27 to 51 physical damage, that is a fractured mod. Basically, anything that's a fractured mod means that it cannot be removed by any means. If you annul this, you can't remove it. If you corrupt it, you can't remove it. If you chaos it, you can't remove it. That mod is stuck on there forever. So this is a potentially good currency for people who want to craft really good items. If you happen to roll several affixes on your particular item that you're crafting and you fracture like the best one, that's great. Now you have a good crafting base to work with. So I'm super excited for these to come into game and also to see how expensive they're going to be. It's going to be interesting to see if they're super common or not. If they're not, this is going to be a very valuable currency to say the least. If you decide not to do the corrupted map before you do the ones on the outskirts and you do them first, all these corrupted maps, if I remember correctly, are going to have a better chance to give you unique items. So it gives the players the option: run the corrupted maps for unique items or run the cleansed maps for the fracturing currency, which I think is pretty cool. The towers, on the other hand, oh boy, this was needed. Towers suck. I think everyone hates the current revision of towers. GGG has spent a lot of time developing towers, though, so they're kind of in like that sunken cost fallacy state to where they can't really get rid of them. They just have to make them better. I think the improvements that they're making to towers this go around is definitely a step in the right direction. I don't think they're going to be perfect yet, but they're definitely going to be much better. So basically, the short version is you're going to see about a third of the amount of towers that you're currently seeing, but they're going to buff maps significantly, or buff tablets significantly more. So instead of having, one tablet that gives you 10 breaches, you can put in three tablets. Maybe one gives you 10 breaches, the next one gives you 15 expeditions, the next one gives you like 7 bosses. And it also, on top of that, depending on the tier of map that you run in your tower, it buffs those by an additional, 50, 60, up to 100%. So you could have what they're showing here: 32 maps in the range give breaches, 28 give expeditions, and 22 give bosses. That is phenomenal. That means you are definitely significantly more likely to get overlap with your maps, which I think is a fantastic change. I hated running towers and having a breach here, an expedition there, etc., etc. It felt so unrewarding and just pissed people off, me included. In addition to this, towers will also be able to spawn with mechanics, so breach, expedition, delirium, etc., and also have their own unique bosses. This is a great update. I'm super excited for this. The endgame mapping system in this particular revision was very much so lacking. So, round of applause, GGG. Well done. Super happy for these updates. The last of the additions that I want to cover is crafting. And we're going to make this really, really quick because this video is getting really, really long. But basically, corrupted essences are one of the two big new mechanics. You will be able to find essence encounters and corrupt them. It can increase the number of essences you find, it can roll different essences, it can make them greater essences, or it can give you the new special essences, which are the hysteria, delirium, horror, and insanity, and they all come with special affixes. I'm all for adding additional crafting methods. I think more essences is going to be a great thing because they are currently far too rare, in my opinion. So, thumbs up to that one, GGG. And the other thing, and it's not listed on this page here, is the recombination. And recombination is going to come from the logbook encounter NPCs. You'll be able to put one item in one side of the UI, another item in the other side of the UI, and then combine them. And the combined item will have a chance to take affixes from both items and put them on that new combined item. This already exists in Path of Exile 1. I think it's a good thing to transfer over. And since the currency required to do this is logbook currency, it actually gives you a reason to pick that up and sell it. So in my opinion. Both of those things, very good additions to the game. The more crafting, the better, in my opinion. All right, for our quick discussion about nerfs, we're going to have Jonathan lead us off. And I realized earlier on the clip that I played earlier in the video that I said Jonathan when I meant Mark, so I apologize about that. But let's play this really quick portion of this interview here.
Because they have other things at scale.
And this just means that, like, when you're asking, well, what skills have changed? Well, the answer is literally all of them. Like,
Yes.
no skill will have the same damage as before. It's
Okay, so that was the short version. He said that all of the skills are changing, and none of them will have the same damage as they did before. This is also, they got a little bit more in depth on this later on in the interview, but pretty much everything is changing. Your build, as it currently stands, is not going to be nearly as strong as it currently is. Some other point in this this interview, Mark literally said, "Stat stacker, get out of here," and did one of these things. Um, they're obviously changing up the meta, and that's to be expected, right? You know, they didn't expect for Gemling Legionnaires to be able to one hit everything. They didn't expect for Spark to be able to one hit everything. They didn't expect for the Trample Toe Auto Bomber to be able to one hit everything. So the short version of this is your build is going to be a lot less powerful after this update than it currently is. And I think that's another reason why they should have probably forced everyone to just play a new league. Because if you're used to just farming content and just being a one mouse button warrior and just killing everything, that's totally going to change. I'm super happy about that. I think they need to be careful about how much they do balance, and that gets me to the unique items. You know, obviously a lot of our unique items are going to change. You know, they had a look. They said later on in the interview again that they went through all the uniques and they modified pretty much all of them. So the ingenuity, for example, I guarantee you it's not going to be able to roll up to 98% anymore with the corruption. They might make the range instead of 40 to 80. It might be like 40 to 50, 40 to 60. So with the really good corruption, you can get up to 80. I just don't think it's going to be nearly as powerful as it was. I know they're probably going to make the Temporalis a little bit less powerful. They might do something to the Astramentus, even though it's already the way that it is in Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. I don't know. We don't have any of the information beyond what they told us in the interview. We haven't seen the patch notes yet, but I guarantee you, your build, yes, it's not going to be nearly as powerful as it currently is once the patch rolls around, so be ready for that. So as we get into the ninth chapter of this video, and we're like 25 minutes in or something at this point in time, I'm sorry. I tried to make this a quick video. I really did. I want to talk about my plan for my build. So I'm going to be doing, as I said earlier, a Huntress, or with the Ritualist Ascendancy. My nodes are going to be Unfurled Finger, which gives you an additional ring slot, Mystic Attunement, which gives you bonuses from your rings and amulets, Corrupted Life Force for Blood Boil, and probably As the Whispers Ask. The reason I'm picking Blood Boil is so I can have corrupted blood on my enemies. It's going to give them little boils. The boils will pop. It'll spread corrupted blood to the other enemies. But I'm also planning on trying bleeding. And just so you know, corrupted blood is not bleed. They are separate. But I'm going to try Rake, which is a new skill. And I'm going to use that to bleed enemies, which I'm then going to scale through like bloodletting, maybe exposed toxins or fast acting toxins, exposed wounds, lasting trauma. Those things all scale bleed. I can also use lacerate as well to 100% make the bleed happen if rake doesn't give 100% bleed chance. But that's basically what I'm doing. I'm going to have bleed and corrupted blood at the same time. So 2 damage over time ailments. I'm going to scale them with their respective skill nodes on the passive tree and just try to do as much damage over time as possible. And we'll see if it works. If it doesn't, back to the drawing board. Okay, so we finally arrived at the end of the video, and my goodness, I was going back over the recording and we're at like 24 something minutes. I am so sorry. I tried to make this video so much quicker, but I did mention earlier in the video a few surprises for those who stuck around at the end, or if you went ahead and skipped to this point, welcome as well. And those surprises are as follows. Number 1, I'm going to be streaming on the day of release. I requested off work for the day of release. I know that's nerdy, but I'm very excited. So I will be streaming starting a few hours prior to the update on both YouTube and Twitch, and I will have them linked in the description for those who would like to watch. Number 2, I will be doing yet another giveaway, this time for 1,000 divines that will go to 10 lucky people at 100 divines each. And the rules are the same as the last one. First rule, you do not have to like, comment, or subscribe. It is totally not necessary. I don't need any of those things from you in order to be eligible for the giveaway. Second rule, all you have to do is join the Discord, find the giveaways channel, and click enter giveaway. That's it. Super simple. Best of luck to everyone. The drawing will be on Thursday, right before the league starts. And with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for your subscriptions. If you feel so obliged, please subscribe. And I will see you in the next league. Peace.